Okay, welcome to part 5 of the Johnny Blender 3 series. In this part, we're going to go ahead and... I know we mentioned we were going to work on the eyes, and we still might. But first off, I want to go ahead and finish out the mouth, the inside of the mouth. So we're going to give him a tongue and some teeth. Now on the teeth, they're just going to be some white boxes, basically. I'm not going to make individual teeth. They're just going to be a white top and a white bottom. Cartoon style, and you know, just we're not going to see the inside of his mouth a whole lot, so we'll just put some teeth placeholders, if you will, there. So before I jump inside the mouth there, I want to clean up the lips a little bit, round these off a little bit more, about like so. There we go. Maybe go ahead and add another loop right around the edge of the mouth to get a nice crease there. There we go. And this kind of looks like it's kind of angled there, so let's grab this and drag it up some. And just kind of clean that up. A little bit more in here. Just grab that whole front and just drag it in. Same thing on the top lip. Okay, I think that'll work for now. There we go. Okay, so go ahead and jump into edit mode, and we'll do the same thing like we did with the eyebrows. Just come over here and Shift A to add a cube, and go ahead and scale it down. And we're going to scale it on the X-axis, so it's wider, and then we'll come into the top view and we'll scale it on the Y-axis, S and then Y. I don't know if my screen display showed that or not. Control R to add a few loops in here, right there. And when I get this inside the mouth, it's going to meet there in the middle, right here on this side of our new cube. So I need to go ahead and delete this face, or they'll basically be two faces glued to each other, and it'll look weird. So we'll just get rid of that and be good to go. Okay, so we've got plenty of loops horizontally. Now we need to go ahead and add some vertically as well. Let's go ahead and just add 3, and we'll grab this one and Control E, do an edge slide pretty close to the top. There we go. Grab this one. Remember, just Alt and then right click on the line there. Oops, wrong button there. Alt, Control E. I hit Control R by accident. Drag that down. Okay. And let's go to our side view. And let's move this away from the head. Just Control L and then move it up here so we can see a little bit better. And we'll just go ahead and do the same thing here. Let's just add 2 loops this time. Do the same thing there. Edge slide. And then edge slide. Okay. So this will be our top teeth. Just go ahead and select this whole box here, and let's just go to the front view. And just go ahead and move that into position. And you can see the closer when we meet there, it's glued together forever now, unless we turn off the clipping. But that's what we want. We want it stuck to the middle. So okay, so just scale it down until it fits the mouth a little better. And then let's go into top view, and let's go ahead and start rotating it around, bending it around so it's got more of a natural curve to it, like teeth have, or a set of teeth, I guess. So just move this out up front so I can see it a little better. Let's grab our vertex select, and let's put our 3D cursor right about there. And then what we're going to do is rotate around it. So we go right here and say around 3D cursor. Or we can also just hit the period button and it'll do the same thing. So now I'm going to grab these guys and I'm just going to rotate. And you can see it's rotating around the 3D cursor, so it's going to bend them out like so. And I need to, okay, proportional editing is turned on. Let's go ahead and increase the influence. Now since we're rotating around the 3D cursor, this is where you see our little widget, that's our selection widget, and then when we rotate around you can see that's where the influence is shown as well. Now that's just where it's shown. It's still taking place on our selected vertices, but we're seeing it there. And actually, the 3D cursor right there is a little too far to get the curve that I want, so I'm going to go ahead and just move it maybe about right there. Actually, maybe way over here. Kind of just take some trial and error to get the exact look that you want. And if you just can't get it to look right that way, well, you can always just, you know, go back to normal, rotate around the median point, and just kind of do it manually, I guess. There we go. Gonna scale Shift Z so I don't scale it vertically, like so. Okay, so let's try to round this out just a little bit better. Grab these guys. Okay, now they're a little too thick. I'd like to thin them up some, so let's carefully grab this back row of vertices here and just move that up and run your influence down as much as you can. Okay, then we'll grab these guys and just move them over. And get these lined back up over here. Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's get this curve straightened back out a little bit. It got kind of ugly. Okay, I think that'll work. And again, like we saw with the eyebrows and such, we need to go ahead and hit smooth again over there. There we go. See it turned right on. Okay, so now we can tab in, and let's grab top teeth and just go ahead and move them inside the mouth. And just move them down just a little bit. There we go. So you can kind of see them in there. And then we're going to just go ahead and hit Shift D to duplicate. And just go ahead and drag it down. And this will be the bottom teeth. And there they go. You can see them almost together in there. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and put them together. I like to have the default, the relaxed pose, if you will, of the face with the mouth closed and jaw together and everything. And then to animate later on, we open the mouth and everything. So let's go ahead. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that. We got the teeth together now, like so. Let's go ahead and put the lips together as well. Let's grab these guys here, and maybe these guys, and this one, and I guess these as well, and those back ones. Okay, and just move them up and increase the influence so we can get the whole sides of the mouth and everything as well. Okay, now we've got the corners of the mouth together. Let's go ahead and deselect these and move these up just a little bit more. Same thing here, deselect those, and then just the middle. Okay, so now we got our teeth in our mouth, and the mouth is closed. So, we got our teeth, and we still need the tongue. Even though, personally, when I animate, I don't really animate the tongue very much unless, you know, he's sticking his tongue out or licking something or something like that. But, you know, you can always use it for forming words, you know, sounds, L, D, N, so on and so forth. You use your tongue for all of those sounds. So, right now I'm reshaping the inside of the mouth a little bit. And one easy way, or not an easy way, but an easier way to see inside the mouth without, you know, having to look through the outside of the model is just go ahead and turn off the mirror for now, or just turn off the display. So you just hit that eyeball and it turns it off here, so we can actually see like a, you know, a cross view of the mouth, so we can go in here and work a little easier. Okay, so for the tongue, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some of these faces here at the back of the mouth. Those guys right there. Don't want these. Deselect those. There we go. And you know what? I don't want that one either. And I'm just going to extrude these. Control 3 puts me on the left side. Remember, if you just hit 3, it shows you the left profile view. If you hit Control 3, it shows you the right profile view. And then, for that matter, if you hit 1, it shows you the front. Control 1 shows you the back. 7 shows you the top. Control 7 shows you the bottom. So, just a little quick bit of information there. Okay, so we got these faces selected. Let's go ahead and extrude those out a little bit. Scale them on the x-axis some. Maybe move them towards the center. And then extrude again. Go ahead and just look at the side view here. Extrude again. And let's just go there and then one more time. Just scale it down. Okay, now we can obviously see that this is not a very tonguely shape, if that's a phrase I can use. So we need to sculpt it. Now, remember what I said, like with the hair, it's hidden right now. So I would like to hide pretty much everything except for the tongue, because I'd like to sculpt the tongue a little easier. So one thing you can do, which you'll use, I'm going to show you how to use seams. Now, seams are mostly used for texturing and putting image maps onto your model. It shows, it's like basically a piece of clothing, like a pair of jeans. You got the seams running up and down the sides. It's kind of the same. It works the same way here in Blender. The seams separate each section to where it's easier to put a texture map onto it. So anyways, you can also use seams to separate pieces of the model when you're working on it, when you're modeling it. So let's do that. I'm going to select not that loop, but actually just go edge select here. And let's just select around the tongue here. Go X-ray view here. Okay, and we're going to hit Control E, and we're going to mark a seam. Okay, so we've got that seam mark, and it's separated now. And now you can go to face select mode and select one of these faces out here, outside the seam, and hit Control L, and it does the same thing. It selects everything connected, but since face select mode, it's selecting everything on that side of the seam. So now when I hit hide, boom, it's all hidden. So that's kind of a cool trick. I like to use that one fairly often when I'm modeling. Okay, so let's get this tongue straightened out a little bit. Might be easier. You know what, let's do that. I was going to say this might be easier if we hide the eyeballs and eyebrow, or eyelids and eyebrow. And it will be, so let's go ahead and hide that. And go ahead and hide the eyeball as well. Oops, H, there we go. And back to solid view. There we go. Okay, let's go to top view. And let's round the tip of this tongue out. It's very square. I've never seen a square tongue myself. Zoom in here real close so we can get that guy. There he is. Okay. Okay. Now see, also, while I'm thinking about it, another example of how the connected proportional editing works. Right now, these vertices are very close, geographically speaking, to the vertices on the teeth. But as you can see, it's not moving them. Now, if I had just the proportional editing enabled, it would edit those as well. But since these are only connected to the tongue, it's only going to move those. So I like to use the connected most of the time. Sometimes you can find a use for the just the general proportional editing, but for the most part I find that the connected is the better way to go. Okay, what am I trying to do here? Trying to go to the right profile. Okay. Now the tongue is round from the top view, but from here it's still kind of flat. So let's move these up a little bit so that they have more of a tongue shape. Okay, and you know what, we could go ahead and turn the mirror back on if we wanted to, kind of see how that's going to look together. And looks like it still needs a little bit more rounding. And I think that'll work. Okay, you could go on and do a throat hole and everything as well if you wanted to, but I don't think it's 100% necessary unless you're going to be showing your character yelling or screaming or, you know, with his mouth wide open for some reason, maybe a big yawn or something. I remember in what was it, Madagascar, the DreamWorks movie, the hippopotamus. I don't remember her name, but Gloria, that was her name. She yawned really big, and it showed like her open throat and uvula hanging and everything. So you can do it if you like, but I'm not gonna go through it right now. So okay, so now if we look at our wireframe view and set the optimal display, there we go. What optimal display is obviously, like we just seen, it gives you the kind of the realistic version of your wireframe view. Like if you didn't have Subsurf on at all, let's go ahead and turn that off. You could see the low polygon version, the low polygon view version of your model. But if you turn on Subsurf without the optimal display, it shows you the high polygon view wireframe. So if you turn on optimal display, it basically shows you the low polygon view with the smoothness applied. So, okay, so there we go. Our head is basically done being sculpted. I know you're probably thinking, well, his eyes are closed. I want his eyes to be open. Well, we're going to have to wait until, to be able to animate them, we'll have to wait until we get the rig going, the armature. So, in the meantime, to work on the eyeball, we'll have to go ahead and just grab it. Oh, it's hidden right now, isn't it? Alt-H unhides. So let's grab it. Just click in there. I know it's in there. So just click in there until it's selected. And let's just go ahead and bring it forward. And I'm going to tab into edit mode. And I'm going to put a loop right here. And then I'm going to put another loop right here. And kind of scale it up to where it's almost touching that first loop. And then I'm going to go zoom in real close. Put another loop in between those. Okay. And then I'm going to drag that back. Oops. Let's turn off the proportional editing right now. Alt-O turns it on and off. So let's just drag that back. And I'll tab out. You can kind of see the makings of an eyeball. And so we'll go ahead and put a subdivision surface on there. So there's our eyeball. Let's go ahead and put that back where it goes. And we can do that easily by grabbing our head model, tabbing back into edit mode, and you can see everything's still hidden. So let's just Alt-H. And let's select our eyelids here. Control-L to select all the linked. And we're going to Shift-S, cursor to select it, and it's going to put the 3D cursor right there in the middle of that big mass of selection. So now when we tab back out of edit mode, the 3D cursor is still there. We can grab our eyeball, Shift-S, selection, which is what's selected, the 3D or the eyeball, to cursor, and it pops it right back in there. So if we go into edit view, or excuse me, wireframe view, our eyeball is right there in its socket where it needs to go. So we can go ahead and do the same thing. Actually, I was going to say we could do the same thing on the other side, but since the mirror is turned on, we won't actually be able to select the right side eyelids. So let's go ahead real quick. Time's running a little fast. It's almost the end of the time for this section, but real quick, it's not difficult, so I'll just go ahead and show you real quick. Tab back into edit mode. Oops, grab the head first. And we're going to add some more seams. Remember we put the one around the tongue. So that one was just basically for modeling purposes, but the ones we're going to put now are going to be for the texture mapping, which we will do later on. But we need to go ahead and I like to select inside the lips. You know what? Scratch that. I'll leave the seam application for when we actually start texturing. It might be a little less confusing than if you're not familiar with it. So, okay. So, anyways, we'll call this part 5. We'll call this done for now, or done, and then we'll go on to part 6 after this. So, thanks for watching part 5, and I'll catch you on part 6.